This is a podcast about our lived experience, which unfortunately includes infant death and subsequent mental health struggles. Please take good care of yourself and only listen if this content feels safe for you right now. We'll still be here when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Judith.
And I'm Alina. We both lost babies to SIDS in winter 2021.
In the throes of grief, I reached out to a stranger on the internet and our friendship was born.
In the years since, we've been working hard to survive, rebuild, and navigate the continual challenges that have come our way, including divorce,
Job loss,
dating while bereaved,
moving multiple times,
health scares,
pregnancy and parenting a living child,
starting new jobs, and so much more.
We are tired.
Happily ever after is out of the question for us, but this podcast documents our journeys to happier ever after because we believe life after loss is worth living.
So join us as we laugh, cry until we laugh.
Welcome to As Long as I'm Living podcast.
We're so glad you're here.
Well, today is actually a very big day because today my son is the age that Aiden was when he died.
It's today?
Well, it depends how you count and who you ask because I've spent a lot of time thinking about it.
I asked you. And how do you count?
I know, but this is what I'm telling you. Okay, so he was alive 2 months and 20 days. But one of the months he was alive was January, the longest month in the year. And one of the months he was alive was February, which is the shortest month in the year. So 2 months and 20 days doesn't exactly equate 11 weeks and 3 days, which is his weekly count that he was alive. So if you're waiting for 2 months and 20 days, then I've got a couple more days on account of the months being a little bit more regular this time of year. But we want to count by 11 weeks and 3 days. And also another thing that I can't figure out how to count, and this is also maybe because I literally don't know how to count, but I think he was born I know he was born on a Tuesday. So is that day one, if you're counting 11 weeks and 3 days, is that day one, or is day one the next day, which would be Wednesday? Because Aiden died on a Thursday. Guys, by the way, I can only do this ramble with you. Aiden was born on a Saturday night, okay? And I always said he was 11 weeks and 3 days because it was Saturday night and then he had Sunday, Monday. Well, I guess he was really 11 weeks and... I don't know. The point is I can't really calculate because I don't know if I calculate the day he died as the day he lived.
So I do wonder that too, because when I say 3 months and 27 days, that 27th day is the day he died. So I went to Google.
But he wasn't technically...
Well, but I don't know when he died. Did he die after midnight? I don't know. Was he alive for any part of that day?
Right. No, I don't know.
And also Quinn was born very late in the day on the day he was born. So was that a full day?
Right. That's what I always thought it was 11 weeks and 3 days, but now that it might have been 11 weeks and 4, it depends where you start counting. If you count day one, my squash is ready. 1 second. If you count day one as being the Sunday.
Yeah.
And he died on a Thursday, that means Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So really 11 weeks and 4 days. Point is, I don't know how you count, but my son is 11 weeks and potentially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 weeks and 4 days, potentially, or 11 weeks and 3 days, depending on whether or not you count the day he was born and the day he died. And he's not 2 months and 20 days. That much I know, because 2 months and 20 days would put us actually at next week on Monday.
Okay.
So he is within the window.
He's entering the zone of when Aiden died. And at the end of next week, we'll be out of the zone of when Aiden died.
Yes, pretty much. I can't count. The math is complicated, or it doesn't even matter. The point is just that this is about the time when he died. And last night I was holding him and I was feeding him and I just would not put him down. I would not put him down. This is very interesting. I took off all his clothes except his diaper and I put him on my chest and I took off my shirt and I put him on my chest.
Doing some skin to skin.
And I just there was something about kind of just this awareness that you don't know how much time you have left. And
yeah.
I wanted to be as close as humanly possible to him just in case something happened.
I think you don't really parent that way in general, but this feels like a very appropriate time to parent that way.
I don't parent that way in general, but this morning when he woke up, I turned to him and I go, "You woke up?
Good job."
You woke up. As if it was such a sudden surprise.
Good morning.
And here you are. Still here. 11 weeks and 3-ish days, potentially 4. Yeah, and I just have been really like aware of time. I read an article last night that, do you mind if I talk to you about this? Then we have to record some other things. But first, hold on, let me get the squash.
Okay. Okay, you got your squash?
Yes. I want to tell you this thing, which is that I read this story, and the story was called Measuring Time in Love and Loss. Learning to measure time in love and loss. And the author, Chris Huntington, said he worked for 10 years full-time in prisons as a teacher. And during his first week, he noticed that a clock was off by a few minutes. And he said to an inmate, like, your clock, we should reset the clock. And the inmate goes, a few minutes off? We need one that goes by months and years. What do we care about 5 minutes? Um, and he said, which I found to be like such a profound statement. Like,
what does time even matter?
What does time even matter?
If certain things are not in place, why does time matter? It doesn't
matter. 100%. Wait, I want to read the end of this because I just thought it was so profound. He's talking about how his wife gave him a gift, and it's a battery, a watch. And he said, when the battery in my watch died, I still wore it. There was something about the watch that said, it doesn't matter what time it is. Think in months, years. Someone loves you. Where are you going? There are some things you will never do. It doesn't matter. There's no rush. Be the best prisoner you can be. And basically, the idea is like, where are we going? Like, we're going nowhere. Like, we're on this earth just to have relationships and enjoy time with the people that we're with and, like, love one another. So, okay, if it doesn't happen now, if you miss things a minute off, like, I think about this sometimes, and I hope this doesn't come off as insensitive. But I remember when Aiden died, I was in such a rush to have another baby. Like, I was like, I need a baby right now, like immediately. And at the time, it's because I had like no confidence in my body and my ability to have a healthy child again. And now looking back on it, like, I think to myself, like, an extra month wouldn't have mattered. A couple extra months wouldn't have mattered. Like, it really wouldn't have. Even 6 months wouldn't have mattered. Like, I needed time to heal. I needed my daughter came to me. And once she came to me, like, that's all that really mattered. And the time that it took, every month that went by, I was like, I'm behind on my dreams. I'm behind. I want that in my arms again. Like, it was such a drive. And then now that I have her and now my son in my life, it's like, I was so hard on myself. I was so intensely focused on it. And like,
I remember when I was trying to get pregnant with Quinn and it was taking a long time, I just remember thinking like, and actually I had the same thought too when we were trying to do IVF transfers and they weren't working. Like, if I knew that eventually it would work, I would be okay with the wait. The thing I was actually afraid of was the thing I was hating was not the wait.
Is that I would never have family.
It's the uncertainty of whether I would ever have it.
Yeah.
And so I think that really rings true for me. But then the other thing that is reminding me of is those early days with your newborn where time doesn't matter because your whole day, the idea of a sunrise and then time during the day and then a sunset and then you sleep all night and then you wake up and there's a 24-hour cycle, that goes out the window when you have a newborn. Those first couple of weeks are like 5-minute chunks, feeding, and then 45 minutes later feeding, and then 45 minutes later feeding, and then diaper. Like, there's no schedule and you feel like you're in outer space. It's like very unsettling. And you have to like lean into the fact that like time does not matter. It's a very hard lesson to learn for someone like me who's like so schedule based and so on time and like routine oriented and all of that. But like the sooner you let go of that when those early days with the baby, like the sooner the better it gets. And I feel like that was true in grief too. Like I had to just like be like, I'm gonna have another baby when it happens. I'm gonna get married again when it happens. Like, and it's again easy for me to say now on the other side of all that. But whew.
The loops back to the conversation we were having earlier about how old was Aiden when he died. Like, it doesn't matter.
I know. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if it was 2 months and 20 days or 11 weeks and 3 days. It doesn't matter if it was 3 days or 4 days or 1 day. Just
well, because what we're trying to do is say, oh, okay, Rocky outlived Aiden, so he's probably not going to die. Like we're like trying to get to that certainty of him not dying, right? But like,
the time doesn't matter.
Anybody can die at any time. So like, it doesn't matter if he's 11 weeks and 4 days old or if he's 2 months and 21 days old. Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But it does matter but it doesn't matter.
Well, when you're the one who's sitting there, like, wondering if you can go to sleep tonight because you want to know if you should be sitting there watching the monitor, then it does matter. But in
Yeah.
general, when they wake up in the morning, you're like, why did I do that? Okay, but that's all side point. I don't know why we're talking about that. We only have a couple more minutes before we have to get ready for our next episode that we're going to be recording. But I wanted to ask you, I got to see you in person last week.
Yeah, we had such a fun hang. That was one of my favorite trips ever that we've ever had.
Really? Tell me why.
I feel like it was so fun. Because first of all, our husbands were hanging out with us, which is normally not true, which was so fun.
This is the first time they've ever spent time together, and they really hit it off.
They really did. They had a great time. And I don't know, it felt so like so normal.
It did feel quite normal.
Like we just were like normal people, like hanging out for a visit. Like it wasn't like, and believe me, I love our grief retreats. Even our grief retreats have gotten kind of normal, like just two ladies
Yeah.
hanging out. But it just felt like, I don't know, just like so fun. I mean, it was definitely not relaxing. Like I left that trip like absolutely exhausted from hanging out with your kids for 2 days.
Yes. Like literally, I knew you would. I was like, they're probably so tired. They have no idea what they just got into.
I was so tired. Both of us were so tired. Like we got in bed at night and we were just like, whoa.
Welcome to my life.
First of all, your son is enormous. Like just holding him is exhausting, but I also refused to put him down for any amount of time.
You didn't put him down. You were like,
I could not put him down. I was just so happy to be with him that I was lugging around this gigantic baby, like and my own baby because I'm pregnant. So I was just like,
I know. I thought it was crazy.
I was just lugging around like 25 pounds of baby. Like, that's not how much he weighs, but I'm thinking about like my pregnancy weight.
Honestly, probably more because he weighs 15 pounds. So,
oh my gosh.
He's a very big baby. Yeah, this was interesting because you were in my house and I was like parenting. Like we just spent the whole time being parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Together. And you like, it was also so fun because you were like teaching my husband like how to swaddle and like how to feed a bottle and all this stuff.
He
That
did
was
great.
so cute because he got to have like some experience with a little baby. And
I think it was really helpful for him actually.
it was super helpful. He likes to be prepared. And I feel like now he has like a general sense of just like, obviously like your own newborn is like total chaos, but like now he's like, he understands the gist of bottle feeding, right? And the gist of
Not just
changing a
that, but like
diaper.
what the schedule looks like, what babies do all day,
Yes.
and we spoke about things like the monitor, like what monitor we use and the crib that we use. And like, he just kind of seemed to be like really eager to like learn about like what was going on and how to burp a baby. And he was like really like interested.
He like got him to burp finally. And he was so proud. Like, he's like, I did it.
And he like literally calls himself the swaddle master. Like he was like, I know how to swaddle.
Yeah. He's a better swaddler than I am.
Yeah, he did great.
Because I never did like manual swaddling.
He did great.
But what was really fun was like we came out of that weekend and he was just so he is so excited for our baby to be born. Like there was a part of me that was like slightly worried he was going to come out of that weekend and be like, oh shit, what have we gotten ourselves into? Because it is a lot. But he came out of it like just so excited. I think it helped that we had your baby is so easygoing, so that was great. And your daughter is so incredible and fun to be around that I think he got like,
yeah, she's super cute.
He got like, oh, babies aren't that bad and toddlers are so fun most of the time.
I think he did get that vibe.
He got like the best case scenario.
At some point he said to me, he's like, so he just said to me, he's like, oh, so it's like he just sits here and chills. And I was like, yeah, he just sits there and that's that. And then she just like runs around naked screaming about tomatoes or milk or
avocados
or wants to like rake the leaves. And he's like, this is just what you do. And I was like, yeah. It looks, it's very hard, but when you're in it, but yeah, like you kind of got it. Like, that's it. I just kind of like get yelled at by a toddler and then I just hold the baby. That's.
We sing Pink Pony Club about 100 times a day.
Pink Pony Club. Yeah, but she's really fun. So I think that was like a good introductory to a toddler.
And we also got a chance the weekend before that weekend, we also got a chance to spend some time with my friend's son who's 1. And so Tyler got like, my husband got the kind of the gamut of like baby to toddler to older toddler in the span of a week.
Yeah, he kind of did.
So he got like a little bit of a crash course, but anyway, he's super excited and
Let me ask you a question. Does my house feel like a happy house or a sad house?
it feels like such a happy house. It does not feel like a sad house.
I appreciate you saying that.
It does not feel like a sad house at all. And your house did used to feel like a sad house in a way that was comforting to me, actually. It used to feel
Yeah,
like a sad house in a way that I liked. But I think
yeah,
we're just in a different place now. It doesn't feel sad. It doesn't feel sad. The cutest thing that I just love, like we didn't talk a ton about Aiden and Quinn. I did have a moment when we were at the playground where I was feeling really sad.
yeah. I saw you were crying.
I just felt like their absence so acutely. I was like, they would be like 4 and running around, like having the best time by themselves. Like they would be like
Yeah,
by themselves, like on the seesaw or
yeah.
whatever the fuck, you know? And I just really felt their absence very acutely. And also seeing like my husband with your daughter was like, oh, like it was a reminder of like all I lost, right? Like
Yeah.
as it is sometimes when you see older kids. And so, but all that to say, it wasn't a particularly, we didn't really talk about them, an inordinate amount. It wasn't a grieving weekend. But one thing that was so cute, and I think your daughter does this all the time, but I happened to witness it one time, was you have this necklace that has all the birth flowers of your kids on it. And she just like walked up to you while she was in the middle of playing with stuff. And she walked up and she said, "For mommy's babies." And she was like, "For Aiden, for her name, for baby's name." And she was like, "All mommy's babies."
He's like, these are mommy babies.
And then she like ran away to go do a bunch of other toddler shit. I don't know what she was up to, some crazy chaos. But she just like had a sweet little moment, you know?
I do. And did you see when we were lighting the candles also? Like when we were
Hmm.
lighting the Shabbat candles, we went through, we said,
Yes.
this one's for mommy, this one's for daddy, this one's for Aiden, this one's for me, this is for baby brother. Like we say his name out loud, and I feel like it's very important to like talk about him intentionally.
Yes.
And then she'll say, those are your babies. And I say, yeah, those are mommy's babies.
Yeah. Mommy's babies.
Mommy's babies. Yeah, she says it just like that, your babies.
Yeah.
And I think like, I get questions in DMs like, how do you keep your child alive in your household? And I think for me, the most success I've had is when I talk about them all in the same breath. When
Mhm.
my toddler can see that they're all the same to me. She doesn't like the way I speak about them is the same. And I include him in things where our entire family is. I think when I celebrate him on his own, it's confusing to her as to like what his role is. But when I lump them all together and she sees how I love her baby brother and how I dote on both of them, I think it helps her understand what his role is. These are mommy's babies,
Mhm.
you know?
Yes. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like if I get in the toddler brain, like she has very little context for the world, but one of the things she has context for is her relationship to you. So if you say it's like a similar relationship to the relationship that I have with you and with baby Rocky, makes sense to her. That's one thing she can compare it to.
It's still definitely confusing.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's definitely confusing, but I think that is helpful as opposed to having his picture up on the shelf and being like, that's Aiden.
Yes.
That's confusing. Like, how can a picture on a shelf be like that
Yes.
part is confusing to her. But when I can equate them all, I think it's a little easier.
Has she adjusted to the confusion of baby, the new baby? Because baby Aiden was like a concept, like baby, your
Yeah.
brother Aiden, baby Aiden. And
Hmm.
now there's like this other baby who's not Aiden. Has she like, does that seem confusing to her?
You know what's interesting? Remember when you were here last, she used to want to look at the pictures of Aiden all the time.
Yes.
She does not do that anymore.
Interesting.
She does not look at the albums. Mm-mm.
Interesting.
When his picture will come up on our digital picture frame, she'll be like, that's Aiden. Or we have pictures with him where we're holding a picture of him. She'll say that's Aiden. She knows, who he is, but she used to like every day want to look at his picture album and she doesn't anymore.
Hmm.
And I thought that would make me sad, but it doesn't.
I can imagine why it would make you sad, but I also feel like it,
This is her relationship with Aiden. This is not my relationship.
she's integrating the loss.
Yeah. No, this is her relationship. It's not my relationship with her. And if I want to foster the relationship in a way that she feels comfortable. If she doesn't want to look at pictures of him, she doesn't have to look at pictures of him. If she doesn't want to talk about him, she doesn't have to talk about him. Like I try and follow her lead when it comes to it. So, and like lead by example.
Yeah.
and like follow her lead. We used to say when she would like want to pull on my necklace, I would say, these are my babies. And I would like say, and then I would say in the exact same breath, Aiden died and now he lives in our heart. I used to say that. And so she would say that too. And then I've stopped saying that also because she didn't ask, where's Aiden?
Yeah.
She doesn't ask like where he is.
Where's Aiden? Yeah.
She just like, so I'm like, why am I telling her that? Like if she asked, and where's Aiden? I would say Aiden died, but she didn't ask. So I'm not going to do anything.
To all of our wonderful new friends, we want to hear from you. Email us at aslongasimlivingpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at aslongasimlivingpodcast. We'll get back to you as soon as our grieving brains allow.
Yay!